when you suggested that, in a video, by the way, that police withheld the truth about the person alleged to be behind this tragedy.
Well, how interesting you say that.
That we don't compromise someone's fair trial.
So this is really interesting.
And allow the families of those who have suffered to hear the truth.
Yeah, and we hide behind this again and again and again.
Why are you saying hide behind?
I'll tell you why. Lord Carlisle, Liberal Democrat peer, but a very senior legal man, along with Jonathan Hall KC, who is the government's terrorism czar.
What if everything you thought you knew about the Southport murders was wrong? Nigel Farage claims he's uncovered a shocking truth that could bring down Keir Starmer's leadership. And before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. In this video, we'll examine the explosive allegations surrounding the Southport case and why Farage believes it spells trouble for Labour. Stay tuned as we unravel the threads of this potential cover-up and its far-reaching consequences. Southport, a seaside town known for its tranquil charm and Victorian architecture, was thrust into the national spotlight for all the wrong reasons. This quiet corner of Merseyside, usually bustling with tourists and retirees, became the epicenter of a tragedy that would shake the nation to its core.
Deserve to know the truth, and both Lord Carlisle and
the truth was that the suspect was not under surveillance. The truth was that the suspect had...
Do you know that?
Well, you don't know.
That there was truth behind the idea that this was in fact a migrant who had done this, and it was untrue.
I was saying, tell the truth, give the public information, and the problem will die down.
Like some
Neither of
pundit on some TV show. You're a member of Parliament.
Neither of you
have to behave in a responsible way. If you give the impression to people that what's being hidden...
On a crisp autumn evening, the lives of three young women, Alice Kinsella, Bebe Tranter, and Elsie Cowie, were brutally cut short. The local community, tight-knit and proud, reeled from the shock. These vibrant individuals, each with their own dreams and aspirations, became the faces of a crime that defied comprehension. As the initial investigation unfolded, peculiarities began to surface. Early police reports were riddled with inconsistencies. Eyewitness accounts didn't align with official statements. The timeline of events seemed to shift with each new piece of information. These discrepancies fueled speculation and unease among Southport's residents. The public's response was a mix of grief and growing frustration. A candlelight vigil organized to honor the victims took an unexpected turn. What started as a solemn gathering erupted into chaos as anger over the lack of clear answers boiled over. The peaceful seaside promenade became a scene of confrontation between mourners and local authorities. Media outlets descended on Southport, each spinning their own narrative, some focused on the victim's background.
If talk of reform and myself is dominating, I'm not there. Look, they are desperately looking for someone to blame for the massive election loss they've just been through. So let's go for Nigel Farage.
They wanted to blame you, or do they want to jump into bed with you? I thought Mr. Jenrick is kind of keen for you, to cuddle up.
Well, he's less rude about me than the other three. I mean, that is true. No, there would be no deal with them. I wouldn't trust them anyway.
Are you proud of Brexit? Do you feel like it's been an unalloyed success?
Do I think getting back our independence was the right thing to do? You bet your life. Do I think we've handled it well? Good Lord, no.
While others hinted at deeper, more sinister motives behind the attacks, conspiracy theories flourished in the information vacuum, with social media amplifying every rumor and speculation. It was in this climate of confusion and mistrust that Nigel Farage stepped into the fray. His initial public statements were measured but provocative. "There's more to this than meets the eye," he declared, hinting at insider knowledge. Farage's involvement transformed the local tragedy into a national talking point, adding a political dimension to an already complex case. As days turned into weeks, public suspicion continued to grow. Why were certain areas of investigation seemingly off limits? Who was really pulling the strings behind the scenes? The official narrative began to crumble under the weight of mounting questions. Then came the bombshell. New charges were filed, revealing a potential terror connection that had been absent from all previous reports. This revelation sent shockwaves through the nation. What was initially portrayed as a tragic but isolated incident now took on far more ominous serious implications. The Southport case was no longer just about 3 lost lives. It had become a matter of national security. As the nation grappled with this shocking revelation, Nigel Farage emerged from the shadows with explosive allegations. What did he claim to know that others didn't? The answers would send tremors through the corridors of power and challenge everything we thought we understood about the Southport tragedy.
Part of our independence are we exploiting to our best advantage?
The point about independence is we're in charge. So we can get things right, we can get things wrong.
Do you think as a regular voter, you feel that the AUKUS deal has affected your daily life?
If I lived in Barrow-in-Furness and I was working in the submarines, yes, I would, absolutely.
Okay.
Probably more annoyed with the way Brexit's been delivered than anybody, because so many of the things that we could have done, we simply haven't. And the big one is people voted Brexit above all because they did not like the rate of the population explosion.
Farage's insider information painted a disturbing picture. He alleged that key details about the case had been deliberately withheld from the public. The most chilling of these was the discovery of ricin, a deadly poison with no known antidote. This wasn't just a murder case anymore. It had escalated into a potential chemical weapons threat. The implications were staggering. How did this lethal substance find its way to a quiet seaside town? And more importantly, why was this information kept under wraps? But the revelations didn't stop there. Farage disclosed that the suspect, Axel Rudakubena, had been found in possession of an Al-Qaeda training manual titled Military Studies in the Jihad Against the Tyrants. This document, reportedly containing information to assist in terrorist acts, raised alarming questions about the true nature of the Southport attacks. Was this an isolated incident or part of a larger, more sinister plot? As these details emerged, accusations of a cover-up began to surface. Conservative leadership candidates Robert Jenrick and Kemi Badenoch demanded answers. Jenrick's words cut to the heart of the matter. Any suggestion of a cover-up will permanently damage public trust in whether we're being told the truth about crime in our country. The pressure was mounting, and all eyes turned to Labour leader Keir Starmer. But Starmer's response was deafening silence. As the opposition leader, his lack of comment on such a critical national security issue raised eyebrows. Was this political caution, or did it suggest something more troubling? Critics began to question Starmer's knowledge of the situation and the Labour Party's handling of the case. The Conservative reaction was swift and pointed. Jenrick and Badenoch's demands for transparency echoed the growing public sentiment. Their aggressive stance put additional pressure on both the government and the Labour opposition to provide clear answers about the Southport case and its potential terror connection. Amidst this political firestorm, Farage and his Reform UK party saw an opportunity. They positioned themselves as the champions of truth, promising to uncover what others sought to hide. Farage's strategy was clear: leverage the Southport case to challenge the established political order and present Reform UK as the only party willing to tackle uncomfortable truths. As the controversy deepened, Farage dropped a final bombshell. With a cryptic warning about Starmer's involvement, he hinted at even more damaging revelations to come. The stage was set for a political showdown that could reshape the landscape of British politics. What did Farage know about Starmer, and how would it impact the upcoming trial in January? The revelations surrounding the Southport case have sent shockwaves through British politics. Farage's allegations of a potential cover-up involving ricin and terror connections have put immense pressure on Keir Starmer and the Labour Party. The silence from Starmer's camp only fuels speculation about what they might be hiding. As the investigation continues and the January trial looms, the political landscape could shift dramatically. Conservative figures like Robert Jenrick and Kemi Badenoch are demanding answers, while Farage positions himself as the champion of truth. The implications for national security and public trust are profound. If Farage's claims prove true, it could indeed spell disaster for Starmer's leadership. As we await further developments, one question remains. In an era of increasing political polarization and mistrust, can the British people ever truly expect transparency from their government? Or are we destined to rely on outsiders like Farage to uncover uncomfortable truths?